Let's talk about the appointment of RFK Jr. as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Some people say he's anti-vax. He says he's not. He's pro-safety. So let's talk about it. As a pharmacist, I learned the CDC schedule. We stuck with the CDC schedule, but I have since decided to look into the data of immunizations myself. And I have found some pretty shocking information. Let's just start with measles, because that's one of the things that's in the news right now. Texas is having an outbreak of measles. And what that comes from, we don't know. Is it because people aren't vaccinating their kids anymore? Is it because of immigration and people aren't vaccinated in other countries? We don't know. I'm not going to speculate. But let me just tell you that in 1900, 45 people out of 100,000 died from measles. In 1963, the measles vaccine came out, and in 1964, they reported 0 deaths of 100,000. Sounds like a slam dunk that the measles vaccine did its job. What they don't tell you is that actually between 1900 and 1963, before the vaccine came out, there was already a 98.5% drop in measles. So it essentially had dropped to almost zero anyway, and it was on its way out anyway. So the question is, was it the measles vaccine that got rid of measles, or was it already out the door? Well, I would argue it was already out the door. Why was it out the door? What changed from 1900 to like 1960s and 50s when it essentially had dropped to zero before the vaccine? Well, we had better sanitation. We had indoor plumbing. We had sewer lines underneath the streets so people weren't living in sewage. We got rid of slums. People couldn't live on top of each other. They had to have open, fresh air. They had to have doorways. They had to have windows. We had better workplace safety. We couldn't do sweatshops. We didn't put kids in sweatshops. We didn't put kids in coal mines. We had better food standards. So people's nutrition, health, and sanitation was significantly improved in like the 30s and 40s. So it dropped deadly disease, infectious disease. It didn't just drop measles. It dropped whooping cough or pertussis. Before the vaccine came out, it was essentially 98% eradicated anyway in the 1950s. It dropped cholera. It dropped, which we don't have a vaccine for. No one complains that we still have cholera today because there's no vaccine. No, we don't have cholera because it was essentially eliminated with sanitation. We no longer have, scarlet fever is significantly dropped because of all of these sanitations. And that actually dropped significantly before penicillin hit the market. So all of these infectious diseases dropped, probably because we have healthier Americans and a healthier society before the vaccines ever even came out. So I'm with RFK Jr. I want to see what is the safety of these vaccines compared to the necessity of these vaccines.